Hello everyone, it's Joel Davis with the United Medical Transportation Providers Group, and you are the broker.com, helping you to build your own highly effective and highly profitable broker business. Today, very important topic of conversations because we're talking about Medicaid brokers, unrelated to youarethebroker.com. Now, I want to read you one email. There's another one. I want to talk about this one client provider in particular, but the emails are just way too long because it's been a project that's been ongoing for a couple weeks now. And before I set the stage and telling you that scenario, I want you to think, do you remember a few months back, some of you may have received emails from brokers suggesting once this coronavirus pandemic hit that they need to have lower rates of reimbursement. Many of you may have received those emails. Some of you fell prey to it. You fell victim to it. You signed up for lower rates of reimbursement. Good luck with that, squeezing out your own margin. I'm not exactly sure. I honestly can't tell you what would be the motivation for them to quickly, for the Medicaid brokers to quickly jump on the opportunity to press a lot of you client providers to lower the rates of reimbursement that were previously agreed to between you and the brokers. I can't tell you for sure other than them just being opportunistic, because once they lock you into those lower rates, when and why and what's the impetus for them to increase those rates of reimbursement. Which leads to this video. When Medicaid brokers need you, I promise you, they will open up the coffers. The first scenario I want to talk about is actually, there's two providers I'm going to talk about, both of them female, both of them doing well. The first one, she actually, both of them stay out of network from Medicaid brokers. They stay out of network so they can almost name their prices. And the one provider, I'm not going to mention names or states because things are ongoing and I have to protect her her interests in anonymity. She is in one state, and the bordering state, they were constantly seeking her to come in to provide services out of network. So they wanted her to travel from state A to state B out of network to provide service. Why would that be? There was a major player in the network, in the community, in the area where they now want my provider to come in and do service, and that provider went belly up. Now, I don't know all the details, if they were just 100% Medicaid reliant, they fell for the scam to lower the rates of reimbursement, margins too slim, can't pay the bills, eventually you got to go out of business. I don't know. I can only speculate on things. Maybe they're in the situation or a combination thereof that I've talked about in other videos where they were highly leveraged because she sent me pictures. I've seen pictures of their fleet. I've checked them out online. It looked like they had a decent sized fleet and some decent assets. So bottom line is they're out of business. And they were this Medicaid broker. Again, I'm not going to say the name because things are ongoing. Opportunities are continuing to grow for her, so I got to be careful to protect her name and location, things of that nature. But anyways, we have gone back and forth through email. I always tell you guys, stay off the phones to the best of your ability. Correspond through email. In the future, I might share some of these emails because they are very, 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 very interesting, because it reveals the tactics and the strategies that these brokers deploy. So at some point in time in the future, after I know everything is lock, stock, and barrel, she's already doing services and they're relying upon her, then maybe I'll share some of those emails and obviously redact some of the names and information. But anyways, the reason I don't share those emails now is to protect her, but also there's a lot of them. I would draft the email, she would copy, paste, send it to them, and we would correspond. So I was basically corresponding directly, negotiating and positioning her business. I was basically doing that with the broker one-on-one through her email and her name. But here's what's beautiful about it. This one company went belly up. I can only guesstimate what may have been some of the causes, singular or plural, but they are using my provider now who is doing fairly well in her state, even despite this nonsensical pandemic. They are actually calling her in out of state and out of network. Now, what we just negotiated, and I would say the ink is almost dry because now we have email confirmation of our numbers. So now we are actually going to go in network. Before we were doing trips randomly out of network. Now we're going in network. We still have, when you're out of network with the broker, you could almost name your price. Now we're going in network with them. And you say, why would you do that? Basically, with some areas, we've brought down the rates slightly. We still have very good rates, very good rates. I'm very pleased with that. But supposedly we're going to get higher volume, which if this continues to build, then maybe we would literally put assets there in that town, in that community versus sending them in daily. We'll see how things develop. We're going to obviously monitor the numbers, see what type of volume we get from this broker. But as of right now, things look good because we played this smart. Why am I rambling on about this? Again, let's go back to many months ago when I sent out one of those videos. I created a video and newsletter talking about do not fall for the Medicaid scam where they were telling providers due to the pandemic, we're going to have to lower rates of reimbursement. Why? You're still getting paid the same. Bottom line, when you are in the position where the brokers need you, they pay up. They open up the coffers. There's another transportation provider who I'm working with. Great girl, very smart, working hard. I've mentioned her in previous videos. She was negotiating with a totally different broker, totally different areas, not related whatsoever. She says, I negotiated all my rates based on the fact that we will be the most reliable transportation provider they have and the fact that we already have all the dialysis clients in the surrounding areas. So they won't have to look for any other provider or skip a beat. The only thing they were not prepared to negotiate on is the bariatric stretchers, but we got what we wanted on regular stretchers. I declined all ambulatory rates. More on that in a second. I declined all ambulatory rates and told them exactly why. They completely understood and agreed to only call with those as a last resort and never put them on my portal because they will never even be looked at. If this picks up, we will buy more vehicles sooner than I thought. A great problem to have. Again, we'll talk about that in a second. So a couple things. The reason why she mentioned they declined all ambulatory trips, and the broker understood why she said, we're not doing ambulatory, only contact us as a last resort, and if you do, you're going to be paying a premium. They understood that. The reason why is it's now just common knowledge that especially when it comes to ambulatory, the brokers know their entire benchmark, their entire standard is rideshare. Hence, as I go back and go back and go back to all these years and all these videos, as I've mentioned before, if you are building a business, Shardy, Samuel, if you are building a business that is strictly dependent on ambulatory, you are on borrowed time because it's only a matter of time before you're gone. So the brokers are basing the price structure on rideshare for their ambulatory. You are never going to make enough money. You're never going to make enough margin. There's never going to be enough meat on the bone for you to build, grow, and scale that business. Bottom line. So if you want to be successful with any NEMT business, you got to go heavy, wheelchair, and stretcher. Bottom line. Another point I want to mention here, an underscore, where she says, if this picks up, we'll be buying more vehicles sooner rather than I thought. A great problem to have. Absolutely true. However, remember, that broker is what? A pet alligator. If you want to have a pet alligator, I'm cool with it. But you better remember that's a pet alligator. We're not going to pet that alligator like a dog. We're not going to play fetch with it like we are a dog. We just know that's an alligator. Look, but don't touch. Feed from afar. The minute you try to play with that pet alligator like it's a dog, you're going to get bit. Case in point. Do you know how many emails, how many times I get the sob stories that Logisticare promised us these trips, MTM promised us these trips? There's never a promise with a broker, ever. Not back then, not now, not in the future, not ever. So if you go out and start purchasing vehicles to accommodate the needs of a broker, especially if you're going to go out there and you're going to get some high-priced vehicles. You're going to take out notes on some $45,000 brand new Ford Transits. You're crazy. You're crazy. That is the last thing you want to do. Now, going back to both these providers, no question. If things transpire and pick up with these brokers, there's no question they're going to have to increase capacity, which means they're going to have to bring on some vehicles, which means we're going to have to bring on the right vehicles at the right price point, which means they're going to be used full-size vehicles. Full-size vehicles right now are actually cheaper right now because so many businesses have gone belly up because they've been over-leveraged or underutilized, and we'll talk about that in a minute. You can get used full-size van, which is ideally what you want. Commercial strength, commercial built, increased capacity, increase the top line and the bottom line as compared to your typical minivans. So those vehicles that are already ADA compliant, already equipped, are a dime a dozen right now. In fact, I got another email from this same client provider. I won't read it right now. She was talking about how she was speaking with a client provider in a neighboring state, purchased a new minivan, got the insurance. They shut down the state, COVID-19. He's not doing anything. All he's doing is costing him money, and she's doing phenomenally well. And here she is poised to do even more, even better. So already we see the rhetoric from a broker. Oh, pandemic is here. We're going to need you to take a pay cut. No, you don't. And for any of you who took that pay cut, shame on you. You obviously have not been paying attention, or if you do watch my videos, you don't deploy what I tell you. You don't trust in the fat man and the strategies and the evidence of what I suggest in my information. When it comes to a broker, if you are in a position where the broker needs you, stay out of network because you could almost name your price. And rest assured, brokers have plenty of money. They're always going to try to find the cheapest rate. So don't get me wrong. It's your pet alligator. They may book a trip with you, and they're going to keep that trip with you until they can find someone cheaper. And they could literally book that trip with you and cancel it the same day because they found someone cheaper. They could easily do that. I've seen that countless times. Those are the tricks of the alligator, and they'll do that. But now these providers, they're going to make good money. They're going to make good money because they're going to make good decisions. We're going to mind our numbers. We're not going to become overextended. We're going to be exceptionally practical. We're going to play the hand that's dealt to us. If these brokers want us and they're going to feed us trips, then we'll get vehicles. But we're going to be very smart on the vehicles, the size, the price point, the quantity in which we buy these vehicles, so we never become overextended. Because if they bail out or if they lose a contract and someone gets replaced and they find someone cheaper, whatever, we liquidate. We never operate at a loss. Now, here's what's sad about something like this. I have transportation providers. I mentioned the first one who literally now we are expanding into a different state. I mean, she's expanding. I have another one that I'm working with right now. She is literally sending a driver to a completely different state, and she's expanding. And I have other people who are expanding within their community, within their areas. Some, obviously, as you can see, are going interstate with expanding their business. Phenomenal. Here's the tragedy, and here's what upsets me and breaks my heart so much. I literally have transportation providers right now who are done, liquidated, have to shut down through no fault of their own. Some haven't even been overextended whatsoever. Not through miscalculations, but through political nonsense. Now listen, I've talked about this in previous videos, but this is what upsets me so much when I see people who are working hard, trying to improve themselves, provide for their families, enhance their position in life, and improve their lot in life, make more money, all that good stuff, and through no fault of their own, only through ignorant politicians. How is it I could have so many people in so many areas doing well, and I have the complete polar opposite in other areas? It's absolutely disgusting. It is, and this is why I get upset about this, and why I tell you need to pay attention to your politics, because your politics directly affects your business, which directly affects your money. It affects every facet of your money. Politics directly, why? Because of policies. And if you thought I was crazy all those years ago when I used to make mention of these things, consider the current situation. There's no reason I should have people who are blowing up, expanding, ballooning their business, diversifying into completely different states, and I got other people who are shut down. They can't even squeeze out a drop. They've had to liquidate. And I'm talking good people, as in like the second year of their business, another great hardworking woman trying to build her business, and she was on track to make $25,000 a month. Nothing now. Done. Because why? That area is still shut down. There's absolutely no need for it. None. You think I'm wrong? No. I'm a painfully practical person. Why? Because I want evidence. I don't want emotion. I may get hot-headed sometimes, especially when I'm explaining stuff like this, but I won't make decisions on emotion. I want evidence. When someone proposes, when Logisticare says, hey, we need you to take a pay cut because of the pandemic, first question isn't how does that affect my business? We know it does adversely affect your business. That's common sense. But the first question is, what's your motivation for that? How does that affect you? Why are you doing this? There's always an ulterior motive. Always ask yourself why. Why are they asking this? Why are they suggesting that? Why are they demanding that? Let's take a great state like Florida, where I got some people who are continuing to boom in Florida, despite the booming COVID-19. But is it? But is it really booming? And here's what upsets me. I'm going to pick on Florida. Case in point. When you look at Florida, population in Florida is 21.48 million. Over 21 million people in Florida. Let's take a look at some key stats. I want to look at evidence. So let's look at some key statistics. In Florida, over 21 million, population over 20 million. Let's look at people who die from heart disease. There are 47,027 people will die from heart disease in Florida. For over 47,000. That means a 0.21% of that population is going to die from heart disease. Cancer in Florida, 45,281 people will die in Florida from cancer. And cancer's serious. We all know that's serious. My mother beat cancer twice. My mother-in-law passed away from breast cancer. She fought it twice. It's a killer. It's tough. Let's look at accidental deaths. Accidental deaths could be someone in a car. It could be you got eaten up by an alligator. You got eaten up by a Logisticare MTM. One of those alligators, one of your pet alligators may have eaten you up. Whatever the accidents may be, in a state of Florida of over 21 million people, 12,670 people will die from an accident. Incredible. That means it's 0.058% of the population are going to die by an accident. And who knows what that accident is? I don't know what's... Go to CDC, look at these images. They're all from CDC. The news media keeps telling you COVID-19 is booming. It's exploding in Florida. Population of over 21 million. Yet, deaths in Florida from COVID are 3,840. Deaths in Florida. Over 21 million people, 3,840 people died because of COVID. Let's shut down the state. Everything's got to get shut down. All these other states with even less deaths from COVID. I know when the news media keeps telling you that the rates keep going up and up. They are testing all the time. Many people will have it. They're asymptomatic. They show nothing. They're fine. Joel, you're being emotional. Joel, you're being hysterical. Joel, you're being insensitive. There's some truth to that. I'll claim it. Call me what you wish. Call me an a-hole. Call me what you want. I don't care. But in a state like that it has not closed down, that is continuing to boom, continuing to explode, continuing to provide opportunity for all these motivated entrepreneurs, business owners of all types, all industries, they have 3,840 deaths from COVID-19. That means you are almost 3.5 times more likely to die from an accident in Florida than you are COVID. I'll say that again. Accidental mortality in Florida will be 12,670. That's 0.058% of the population are going to die from an accident. COVID-19, 3,840 people in Florida, and yet all you do is hear on the news of how bad it is in Florida. And yet people, you have, thankfully they didn't shut down like some other states where people have been wiped out completely. But you have almost 3.5 times more people are going to die from an accident, which could be any accident. Shut down the state, isolate and quarantine people. You can't drive a vehicle anymore. You might die in an accident. You may die in a car accident. It only stands to reason if we're shutting everything down because of COVID, we might as well shut everything down because 3.5 times more people are going to die in an accident. And I can only speculate that many of them are going to be car accidents. Shut them down. Why are we doing it? My point is, it's not practical and it's illogical. And the problem is, I can't tell you how many of my client providers are suffering because their states are shut down because of moronic decision makers by their governors, their mayors, city councilmen, making stupid decisions that are directly affecting the lives of motivated entrepreneurs. And that's what upsets me the most. That's what really gets me going, because I work with so many people and I see the entire spectrum. People that are booming, ballooning. Remember, I talked for many, many months now, many weeks, over many videos and newsletters, the ballooning effect. Ballooning effect is here. And so many people are partaking on it, while other people on the complete other end of the spectrum have been shut down, liquidated, bankrupt. Some of them are just in such despair, it's very difficult to even talk to them. And I can completely appreciate that perspective, especially, again, data, statistics, evidence. That's why you need to shut off the TV, stop listening to that nonsense about hysterical, how crazy things are. Data, statistics, and evidence. I want fact-based evidence. Problem is, the news media, the politicians, the brokers, anyone who's trying to adversely impact your business, they're not going to give you facts. They're not going to give you statistics. All it is hyped up emotional nonsense. Now, I know I went off on a rant, and I knew it was going to happen, because this is what upsets me with so many different people I'm working with. I love to see and celebrate the victories of so many of you, but then there's so many of you who are completely in the opposite end of the spectrum, and my heart goes out for you, because you, through no fault of your own, other than being where you're located, you fell victim to moronic policies and procedures that adversely affect your business directly. Now, as I scale back and step down from my soapbox, what's the moral of the story besides not being goaded into the emotional nonsense, always being fact-based? Part of this needs to be pandemic-proof your business. Do you realize that again, on TV, the news media, they're not telling you how the death toll is to an all-time low. They're not telling you that. Technically, go look on CDC. Technically, they can't even call it a pandemic. And they can't, because the death toll is too low now. So now, technically, it doesn't even qualify as a pandemic anymore. But of course, you're not going to hear that on the news media. But go to CDC. Look for yourself. Again, I want facts. I want evidence. Bottom line is, I know you're hardworking. I know you're motivated. I know you have internal motivation. You have self-motivation. You need to build, grow, and scale your business, whether it's transportation, whether it's your courier, whether it's your home care, whether it's your broker, whatever it is, whatever business it is. But you need multiple streams of income. With that, build your money, save money, mind your numbers, make your decisions on the margin, invest that money. Did you see, as of today, even today, the Dow was still over 26,000. So here it is. Half the government and half the country is still shut down. The blue states are still burning themselves down, doing nonsense, and the Dow and the markets are still rocking. Again, I'm not making this up. Anything I say to you, I substantiate with facts, with evidence. I'm not making these up. Go watch the previous video. I showed you the facts. It is what it is. I've made more money in the last 3 years because of a thriving economy than I did the previous 17 years combined through equities. You want to talk about the easiest way to make money? Invest your money. That's all I can tell you to do. When you diversify, when you start building and growing, scaling, funding that honey pot, I'm going to see you at the top.